All right. A very good evening to all. Welcome to this session. So today we are looking into puzzles that are, for SBI PO prelims exam. Okay, the kind of questions that you expect on a regular basis for prelims exam of SBI PO under puzzles. That is what we are looking at for today's session. Okay. Okay. Before we, begin the questions in puzzles, there are some basic things that you have to keep in mind when we look into puzzles. Okay. The first thing is you have to understand the given information using positions. Okay. Right. So what I mean by that is arrangements are everything about positions only. Correct. So when you read a sentence, you have to interpret the sentence and understand and visualize them using positions. Because if you start visualizing them and understand the given sentences and interpret them using positions, it becomes easier to analyze and work and get the arrangement quickly. So the main motto here is to visualize the given instructions basing on positions. We have to visualize them basing on positions. Okay. So, and also you have to ensure that you read the information only once. And by the time you come to the last information, your arrangement should be ready. So ensure that you read the information at a steady pace, neither go too fast nor go too slow. Understanding the point? So you have to set your own pace. So learn to recognize your own pace and practice it. So that by the time you come to that last piece of the information, your arrangement should be completely ready. You should not go back and recheck any of the information. Understood the point? So these are some points that you have to always keep in mind when you are doing puzzles. Then and only then you can maximize your score in puzzles and overall as well. Because your main goal in the exam, any competitive exam, your main goal is to attempt every question at least once. Because by default, any competitive exam is you will have more questions with less time. So you cannot come out of the hall and say time was not sufficient. That is not the excuse you have to give in competitive exams. So your main goal in the exam is to attempt every question at least once. That should be your main goal. And to do that, you have to practice on a regular basis and understand the right approach in getting your answers. Understood? Okay. So without further ado, so let us continue and start working on the puzzles questions. Okay. Right. Just give me a minute. Okay. All right. So yes. Okay. Now before we begin, so do subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is Time for Bank SSCCGL, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for all the notifications of the videos we keep uploading in this channel. Okay. Right. Okay. So let's begin now. So here the directions. These questions are based on the following information. Now 6 persons, P, Q, R, S, T and U are living in a 6-storied building. So you visualize a 6-floor building. Keep visualizing. The more you visualize, the reasoning becomes very easy. Logical reasoning is all about visualizing, analyzing, interpreting. Understanding the point? So you have to analyze that, okay, this is a 6th floor in a building. And you know how the floors will be. The next part of the information will be very common. The ground floor is considered floor 1. The floor which is immediately above floor 1 is considered floor 2 and so on. The topmost floor is considered floor 6. So each person is of a different age. So namely, the ages are given to you, not necessarily in the same order. So you have 6 floors, 6 persons, as well as their ages. That needs to be now done. So it's a floor arrangement with distribution model. Okay. So now these are the instructions given. So let's look into the instructions. Okay. So let's take 6 floors first, and then we'll go to the instructions. So we have the floor numbers 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because that's what he said, no? Ground floor is first floor, floor immediately above ground floor is second floor, so on. Topmost floor is sixth floor. And then you have, you know, persons and their ages. Okay, that is what we need to fix. Right. So let's see now. U lives on an even numbered floor, but not on floor number 6. First thing, how many even numbers are there in 6 floors? 3 even numbers, 2, 4, and 6. But he said not on 6th floor. That means there are only 2 floors that are there, 2nd floor and 4th floor. So you place U in those 2 floors. So I am going to now place U on the 4th floor here, or on the 2nd floor here. These are the 2 possibilities. Correct? That is what he said. U lives on an even numbered floor, but not on the 6th floor. We visualize what is the information that I can extract and interpret from the given data. Those things you have to learn. That is why move at a steady pace. As you read it, you have to understand, and necessary data has to be extracted and fixed. You should not come back to that information again. Understanding the point? Okay. Then the person who is 18 years old lives on floor number 3. Okay. So 18 years old lives on floor number 3. In both cases, you have 18. Floor number 3. Okay. Then R lives on an odd numbered floor, which is above the floor on which U lives. See, he says above the floor. That does not necessarily mean immediate above. Yes, it could be immediate above, but not necessarily. Could be any floor above. So R lives on an odd numbered floor, which is above the floor on which U lives. And also read further instructions so that you will know, is there any connection to the previous instruction. Like for instance, if you look at the next instruction given, he says the person whose age is 59 lives above the floor on which R lives. We know that R is in an odd numbered floor and lives above U. Now the person whose age is 59 lives above the floor of R. Correct? And then again, see, S lives immediately below the floor on which the person who is the oldest person. See, immediate below the oldest person. Now, who is the oldest person? Since we have the ages, see, who is the oldest person? 59. So all these are connected. You need to understand that connection. Okay, so always read the instructions in pairs, 2 or 3 instructions, so that you will know, can I connect anything? So how do I visualize this? I'll put it here, you can understand. So whenever you are practicing, put every information on the paper. Visualize every instruction separately. Then and only then in the exam, it becomes easier for you to combine them and visualize easily. Understood the point? Okay. So how do you do this? See, R is an odd number. Okay. So R lives in an odd number floor. Correct? And lives above the floor on which U lives. So I'll put some dotted lines and put U. And we know U is even number. And then what next he said? The person whose age is 59 lives above the floor on which R lives. So person whose age is 59 is above the floor of R. So he's the oldest. I know that. Correct? And then immediate next he says S lives immediately below the floor on which the person who is the oldest person. So S is immediately below the oldest person. Like this. That means R and 59 cannot be immediate floors. So this is how I want you to visualize. This is what I mean by visualizing. Yeah, good evening, James. Hello, Manoj. Okay. Right. So this is what we need to look at now. Right. So above, you need R and 59. Correct? R should be odd number. See, look at the first thing, R has to be odd number. The only odd number above 4th floor is 5th floor. So you place R here, then you will place 59 here. But then unfortunately, I will not be able to place S in this case. So this is ruled out. That's ruled out. Correct? Now next, what is the case? I know I cannot have R here. Okay, or maybe I can have R in this case. Okay, let us not jump to any conclusion. For now, let us keep this open. Okay, so what are the possibilities? Because R has to be odd number, that is very clear. So I can have R on the 3rd floor. I can also have, R on the 5th floor. But placing R on the 5th floor may not work for us, because then 59 comes on the 6th floor and then you are going to end up with the same scenario. If I place R on the 5th floor, I know R cannot be on the 5th floor because then 59 comes above R and S has to be immediately below, which is again R's floor, not possible. So R can never happen on the 5th floor. So the only possibility is you place R on the 3rd floor. See, all these explanation that I'm doing has to happen in your mind within seconds. So think of it like your mind is me talking at a very slow pace. When you slow any video, how they will be like 0.5 times x or 0.3 times x. Your mind should be talking like how I am talking to you. So that's why keep speaking to yourself. When you're practicing, you have to keep your mind active and talk to yourself. Talking to yourself really helps. So whatever the discussion that I am having with you right now should happen in your mind when you're doing the questions. That is how it will work. I hope whatever I explained you right now is, you're able to understand. Okay. So the conversation that I am having with you now has to happen with yourself in your mind. All these explanations, these everything has to happen on a very, normal pace. You have to be very comfortable in doing this. Then only answering all the questions in puzzles becomes easier. Okay. Right. So now I know you cannot have 59 here. Correct? Because 59 is above R. I can have 59 here in 5th floor, S here on the 4th floor. Or I can have 59 on the 6th floor and S on the 5th floor. 59 on the 6th, S on the 5th, or 59 on the 5th, S on the 4th. So basically, I'm getting two cases. So let us take one more. Let's work on it parallelly. So you need to know which condition is giving me a possibility, and further subsequently down, which condition is eliminating that possibility. All those things have to be understood. Okay. So you have U, you have R, that is 18. In one case, I'm going to take 59 here and S here. In the other case, I'm going to take 59 here and S here. Okay. Now further what he says. The sum of the ages of the persons who live on the floor 1 and 4 is 83. Okay. So floor 1 and floor 4. I do not have numbers, but I clearly know 59 and 18 cannot be those numbers. Which other two numbers, if I add, gives me 83. Okay. It is a slightly on the side of quant-based reasoning, where you will have some calculations to understand. So which numbers gives me 83? Then again, you have to understand, in the units digit, I need a 3. If I want a 3 in the units digit, either I should have a 1 and a 2 for two numbers in the units digit, or 7 and a 6 in the units digit, so that by adding 7 and a 6 gives you 13, and by adding 1 and 2 gives you 3. All these things should happen. Understanding the point? So I do not have 1 and 3 in the units digit, 1 and 2, sorry, so that I can get 83. That was what he said, no? See, yeah, 83. Units digit, you have a 3. That means in the units digit of the two numbers, I should either have 1 and 2, which I don't have, or I should have 7 and 6, gives you 13. That is also there. So what are the two things that have 7 and a 6? I do have, 27, 36 or 36, 47. By adding 36 and 47, how much will I get? 30, 40, 70, 6 and 7, 13. By adding gives you 83. What about 27, 36, 50 and 13? 63 only you are getting. So basically, these are the two numbers that gives you 83 when I add. So know what is the method to approach to get your answers quickly. If you practice on a regular basis, then only you will be aware of all these things. Okay. So 83. We get 36 and 47. So that means I now know that 36 and 47 should be the numbers that are to be there in 4th floor and 1st floor. These are the two numbers to be available in the 4th floor and 1st floor. Correct? Yeah. Persons who live in 1st floor 1 and floor 4. Okay. Then further, at least 2. See, he says at least 2. At least means minimum. Minimum 2 people means you can have more than 2 also. Minimum 2 people live between S and the person who is 25 years old. Okay. Minimum 2 people should be there between S and 25 years old. Now look at the second case. Cannot be above. Below, I will have to give 25 here. Then only I'll have minimum 2 people between S, who's in the 4th floor, and 1st floor is 25. But can I have 25 on the 1st floor? No. Because see, 1st floor, we had 47 or 36 to be fixed. So every information you need to know where should I put it so that I will not miss that information. That is also an art. When you read some information, you need to know where should I place that information if I am unable to fix it, so that you should not miss that information and go back to the paragraph again. There are many things. When you practice on a regular basis, you will keep them in check. Because every second counts in, competitive exams. Okay. So yes, so I can rule out this arrangement also now. Now S is in the 5th floor. Obviously above S I cannot have 25 because minimum 2 persons I want. So below S only I can have 3 people and put 25 in the 1st floor, which is not possible. So now you will have U as 25 so that at least 2 people are there between S and U. Correct? Okay. Further. Yes. T lives below the floor on which the person who is 47 years old. So T is below 47. So if T has to be below 47, then I cannot have 47 on the 1st floor. So I need to have 47 on the 4th floor so that now T can occupy the 1st floor and you can have 36 here. Correct? Yes. And then there is one more number that is needed. That number is 27. Yeah. So S's age is 27. Now one last piece of information is what? P is not the oldest person. So P cannot be 59. So if P is not 59, P is 47, then Q will be 59. See what happened? What did I tell you in the beginning? By the time you come to the last piece of information, your arrangement should be ready. Is it not ready here? It is. So you don't need to go back to the paragraph again. Practice it like this. Then only it becomes, easy to solve questions. Any topic, this is how you do. Not just reasoning or not just puzzles. Any topic, any subject, the approach should be the same. Ensure you are going through the data only once, work on it, get your answer, mark and move on. You need to be aware of the data available. Make use of the options. Options sometimes helps in some topics. Options helps us decide the answer. So you have to come out of the habit of, filling up the rough sheets. You need not do every step in the rough sheet. Nobody is checking your rough sheet to give you marks. The right option gives you marks. So you can forego some steps. You have to do some steps orally. You have to make note of important information and then work. That is how you do. Practice on a regular basis. You will get it for sure. Okay. Yes, Nimisha. Correct. Good. Correct. That is what we'll get. Good. Okay. So now let's look into the questions. Yeah, this is our final arrangement that we have. Yes. On which floor does the person who is 27 years old live? We know 27 is S and it is floor number 5. So you directly mark and move on. Floor 5. Now, what is the age of T? T is 36 given in first option. Then who lives on floor 3? Floor 3, we have R. That's available in choice 2. Then who lives immediately below the floor on which S lives? Okay, immediately below S, you have is P. Choice 2. Direct questions. And how many persons live between the floors on which P and Q live? So between P and Q, how many persons? There is only one person. Third option. See, the answer is 1, but it is given in third option. Be very careful when you are marking. Just because it is 1 doesn't mean first option. Okay? Do not be in a hurry and make mistakes. Avoid them. Okay? All right. So these are our questions you have in this set. Next. Okay. These questions are based on the following information. 7 persons, PQRS, TU and V are sitting in a row facing north, not necessarily in that order. Each of them is holding exactly one thing among. So you have 7 things given. 7 persons in a row facing north, 7 things are given. Distribution, come linear arrangement, row arrangement. Following information is known. Okay, so let's take this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, all are facing north. Always ensure the necessary data is available on your rough sheet. Also place the left and the right, because in every condition you will have someone to the left of some other person or right of some other person. You don't need to, pause and think every time. Put it on the paper, you will know which is left, which is right for every person. Ensure nothing comes in, when you are reading the instructions and understanding the data. No minor deviations or, any distractions should happen. Keep your mind engaged totally on conditions. Okay. Right. So let's see now. P is sitting at the left end, and see, we know whenever you have and, it always refers to the first person in that sentence. And is sitting second to the left of the persons who is holding a mobile. Okay. Second to the left of mobile. P should be at the left end. Okay. So P is at the left end and second to the left of mobile. So mobile will be here, because we know left means our left side. So second to the left of mobile. Okay. Then T is sitting fourth to the left of S, who, see, we know and means it refers to the first person in the sentence. Who means it always refers to the person just before it. Who means S is adjacent only to the person who is holding an eraser. Now this is an interesting one, because the word only is very important. Where is S? Adjacent only to the person who is holding an eraser. So S should be adjacent to only one person. S should be adjacent to only one person. So where is that possible? S should be adjacent to only one person. It cannot be anywhere in the middle. Correct? S being adjacent to only the person who has eraser cannot be in the middle. So it has to be at an end. Then now that is why CP is adjacent to only this person here. So S should be adjacent to only the person who has eraser. So we will have to consider S at an end, and you will take eraser here. So that now what do we have here? T is sitting fourth to the left of S. So 1, 2, 3, T will be mobile. So T is sitting fourth to the left of S, who is adjacent to only the person who has eraser. See, visualize, understand information using positions. So when you read that, when you're practicing, put it on the paper separately. T is fourth to the left of S. Okay, put that. Understanding the point? Okay, like this. T is fourth to the left of S. Okay, it is like this. Who means S should be adjacent to only the person who likes eraser. Then definitely I cannot have eraser here on the other side of S, because if eraser is put here, then S is adjacent to eraser and S is also adjacent to this person here on the other side. then you will understand that nobody should be available on the right side of S. So S has to be at the right end. This is how I want you to practice. Then it becomes easier to directly fix in the arrangement. Got it? Okay, following that? Right. Now, further, what do we have? Q is holding a bag, but see, and or but, it always refers to the first person in that sentence. But is not sitting adjacent to either you or we. Okay, Q is holding a bag. All right, I'll put it separately. Q is holding a bag and is not adjacent to you or we. Okay, not adjacent. Now, what else is there? You and we are adjacent to each other and none of them is holding an eraser. So you and we are adjacent to each other and none of them is holding an eraser. Then the only other adjacent position is this. That is why read instructions, as pairs. 2 or 3 instructions, when you read it, you can easily, interpret. Then that means this is going to be you and we, adjacent, because none of them likes eraser. Now Q holds the bag, obviously happens between P and T, which is not adjacent to you and V, correct? Then you have eraser is R, because that's the only remaining person we have. Yes, further. Right, you and we are adjacent to each other and none of them is holding an eraser. Further, the person who is holding a biscuit is sitting third to the right of the person who is holding a cap. P is not holding a cap and V is holding a file. See, we have biscuit is third to the right of cap, but P is not cap. Okay, so P is not cap. That means here this has to be cap, because then only I'll get third to the right. S will be biscuit. No other position you have for cap. Right? And V holds a file. That is what he said. P is not holding a cap and V is holding a file. Okay, then this is not going to be V. It has to be U. And this is going to be V, because V holds a file. Then U will be cap. And then we have one more thing. What do we have else? Pen. So P holds a pen. So by the time you come to your last part of the information, your arrangement will be ready, guaranteed. That's a tried and tested method. Any arrangement question in puzzles, this is how you do. Go at a steady pace, read the instructions, visualize the data, work on it. You'll get your answer. Got it? Okay. Right. So now let's have a look into the questions. Yeah, our final arrangement. Now, who is holding a pen? We know we have the arrangement here. I have taken the liberty of fixing the arrangement under the question so that we don't have to switch the slides. So it is P who holds a pen. Now, who is sitting second to the right of U? Okay, so U is here, right is our right side, second to the right is R, who has an eraser. R is available. So choice 2. Correct? Then how many persons are sitting between Q and the person who is holding a cap? Okay, Q and cap. Cap is U. So between Q and U, how many persons are there? There is only one. So first option. Then 4 of the following 5 are alike in a certain way and so form a group. Based on the above arrangement, find the one which does not belong to that group. We know it's an odd man out format. So U and cap, when you look at it, is the same. R and eraser, again it's the correct combination. S and biscuit, correct combination. T and mobile, correct combination. But Q and file is not the correct combination. That's your odd man out. Correct? Okay. 9. Which of the following statements is true? He says. Okay. U is holding an eraser. No. That is not true. S is sitting third to the right of V. No, it is second to the right of V. Not true. Q is sitting 2 places away from U. 2 places away means 1 place between. Correct? That is how you always have to remember. 2 places away means the second place. You'll have 1 place between. Correct? Away slightly may confuse you sometimes. So replace the word away with between and -1 you do for the number given. 1 place between. Between who? Q and U. Do I have 1 place between Q and U? Yes. And that is what I'm searching for. It's true. Because more than 1 is not given, you don't have to go for another option. Don't spend even an additional second in checking fourth option. Don't. Because that additional second will definitely help you further. If you have more than one of the above, then invest your time. Don't invest unnecessarily. That will not be beneficial in the long run. Okay, when you're practicing, okay, check all the options, irrespective of what is your answer, check all the options. But when you are in the exam, you have to, invest your time very, very appropriately. You cannot waste even a second. Understood? Right. Anyways, let's look at here. R is sitting adjacent to you. No, they are not adjacent. So this is also false. So we get third option. Okay. So these are our 5 questions in this set. All right. Next. Yes. Now we have 9 boxes. Okay. Are placed one above the other, not necessarily in the same order. Sometimes the word placed can be replaced as stacked. Are stacked one above the other, both are same. So it is a box arrangement. We know it is very similar to floor arrangement, just like you fix floor numbers from the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. You fix box numbers, because when he says are placed one above the other, we usually place the first box at the bottom. You cannot place it on the air. So box number 1 at the ground, then above it 2, then above it 3. So just like you fix floor numbers, you fix box numbers. Understood? So let's do that before we go to the instructions. So we fix box numbers, and then you have boxes. So we have 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so one above the other, they are placed, they are stacked, and now we need to fix the boxes. Right. Let's see this. Yeah, the following information is known. Coming to the first information, box X is placed 4 boxes above S. Okay, X is placed 4 boxes above S, like this. X is placed 4 boxes above S. 4th box above means in between you have 4 boxes above S. Correct? Then only 1 box is placed between S and T. 5 boxes are placed between Y and R. So there is 1 box between S and T. Okay. I don't know whether S is above T or below T, because he says 1 box is between S and T, not like in the earlier case where he said X is 4 boxes above S. There above is given. Here it is between given. Correct? And the immediate next data, what do we have? 5 boxes are placed between Y and R. Correct? So we have 5 boxes that are placed between Y and R. Again, I don't know whether Y is above R or Y is below R. Right? But next, what he says? Box Y is placed below S and is placed above box T. Y is below S above T. So when he says below S above T, the next question you have to ask yourself is, how many boxes are there between S and T? Do I have that data? You have that data. Correct or not? We have that data. See, there is 1 box between S and T. So that means, okay, you can either go above S or below S. One box gap, because there are 3 boxes between X and S. T can be above, then Y in between, or T can be below, Y in between. So you need to ask the right questions depending on the given data. Then it becomes easy to understand. Following the point here? Okay, right. So let's see. So this is how it is going to be. So you have, but he's also very clearly said Y is below S, no? He's saying Y is below S and is placed above T. Okay, so if Y is below S and above T, this is how it has to be. That means definitely S should be above and T should be below, not the other way around. Correct? So this is what I have right now. How many boxes are there in total? 9. How many currently I have? 1 plus 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are you understanding the point? I have 7 boxes now out of 9. Correct? So I can start looking into it. So I can take my possibilities. I am going to get 3 possibilities. See, you have to be very, very clear in understanding if I have 7 boxes out of 9, how many possibilities I am going to get. See, here we have X in the first position, 9th position. Then you have 1, 2, 3. Then you have S, Y, and T. Same way, I'll move one position down. X here, 1, 2, 3. Then S, Y, and T. Same way, X here, 1, 2, 3. S, Y, and T. That's all. These are the only 3 positions I have now. 3 possibilities, rather. So understand the information. That is what I'm saying. You need to be aware of all the information available. I know that there are 9 boxes. Right now, I have 7 out of those 9 boxes available perfectly in that order. Then you will get, these are the only 3. So this awareness has to be developed. Then only it will be easy to look into them in the exam. You have to be very comfortable. You cannot be nervous. That nervousness should not take over. Preparedness should be, above nervousness. Yes, there will be some nervousness. It is good, but it should be controlled. You have to control it. Your preparedness should be at an upper level. Practice. That will help you analyzing it. Okay. Then further, the number of boxes placed above Q is same as the number of boxes placed below Z. We know how to deal with this. Above Q is same as below Z means you have to place Q and Z in such positions which are same from opposite ends. That is how you have to understand this data. Q and Z should now be placed in such positions that are same from opposite ends. Okay, that means what? Now see, 1 and 9 are not possible, but 2 and 8 are possible. Why? See, I'll just show you. Q and Z, he said, no. See, I'll just replace Q and Z here. So what was the information? Above Q is same as below Z. Now see, above Q is how many? 1. Below Z, how many? 1. What happens if I exchange? Now above Q, how many? 7. Below Z, how many? 7. So the positions of these 2 boxes that are involved in this condition have to be the same, but from opposite positions and with interchangeability. That is the thing you have to remember. That is what is interpretation. Understanding, keeping it as to how it can be identified with. So 1 and 9 are not possible. 2 and 8 are possible. 3 and 7 not there. 4 and 6 not there. 5 anyways is not going to be available for Q, neither for Z. Why? Because box number 5 is the 5th box from the bottom and also from the top. You cannot have 2 different boxes in that same position. That is why the middlemost position can never happen for odd number of boxes. For even number of boxes, you'll have equal numbers. Like if you have 8 boxes, 4 from the top you can count, 4 from the bottom you can count. Equal number of boxes from both ends. Understood the point? Okay. Yes. Okay. So then Q and Z, this is the only position available in this case. Let's see, is there any other position available in the remaining? Now here see, 1 and 9 is available. 2 and 8 is not there. 3 and 7 is not there. 4 and 6 is also not there. So 1 and 9 is available in this case. Here 1 and 9 not there, 2 and 8 not there, 3 and 7 not there, 4 and 6 is available. So in every possibility, you have 1 positions. Here 2 and 8, here 1 and 9, here 4 and 6. Correct? We'll see further how it goes. Okay, I'm seeing some arrangements. Okay, Bharani, Sandravadan, and Nimisha. Okay, great. Very good. Okay. Keep doing it. You will get it. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Good. Then what else we have? P is placed above Z and is not placed adjacent to R. Okay. So P should be above Z. Okay. So if P has to be above Z, then obviously you cannot have Z here. So this is going to be Q. This is going to be Z. Okay. And in this case also, this is going to be Z. This is going to be Q. And in this case, it could be, like Q or Z, Z or Q still here, because you can have P above R. Sorry, P above Z. That was what is given. P is placed above Z and means, like I said, it is always referring to the first box, that is P is not adjacent to R. Okay. So P is not adjacent to R. One other thing, we also have to look into this. 5 boxes between Y and R. Since Y is already here, we could have fixed R. Correct? So since Y is here, is it possible to have 5 boxes? Not possible in this case. Because below Y you have only 3, above Y you will have exactly 5. I need 5 boxes between. Okay. Now Y in the third, obviously it has to be above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously this also is ruled out because Q is already now placed, because Z was arranged in the first. Because I need P above Z, Z could not be placed in the 9th position. Correct? Now that means this is the only one. So in this case, Y is here. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you will definitely have R here. 5 boxes between Y and R. So we now know that very clearly that P has to be above Z. That was what is given. The last one, P is placed above Z and is not adjacent to R. So like this, P should be above Z like this. Now what happens if I place Z in position number 6? Then P will be placed in position number 9 because that's the only box available. Then P and R will be adjacent. That will tell you that you cannot have Z here. It has to be Q and Z will be here. So that still I cannot place P in the topmost. P will be between Q and Z. And the remaining you have is W. Is it W or U? W. P, Q, R, S, T, W, X, Y, Z. There is no U. So this is going to be my final arrangement. Okay. R, X, Q, P, Z. Okay. Bharani, instead of W, you put U. Doesn't matter, but your arrangement is correct. Okay. But be very careful. What are the persons or boxes involved? Okay. Your arrangement is correct, except for W, you put U. That's all. Okay, great. And yeah, Sandravadana and Nimisha. Great. Yes. That is what we get. Good. Very good. Keep it up. Okay. So this is how understand information using positions. Always. Doesn't matter what arrangement you are doing. Everything is about positions. Okay. Right. So questions now. Let's see. Yeah, this is our final arrangement. How many boxes are placed between a W and a P? Okay. So between a W and P, there are 3, R, X and Q. So 3 boxes. And 3 is given to us in third option. See, sometimes the answer and the option will match, but not every time. But always look for answer first, then the option number. Don't go for option number directly. Okay. Then, which box is placed immediately above R? So immediately above R is W. So first option. Then in a certain way, W is related to Q. How? I can say that W is 3 boxes above Q or 2 boxes between. Same way, and P is related to Y. How? Same. P is 3 boxes above Y or 2 boxes between. Now following the same, which box is related to box Z? So box Z is here. So which box is related? You leave a gap of 2 boxes, take the third box, that is X, and that's what you pick. Now there is another way of asking this question, because the word related here is very, very important. The word related to has to be carefully checked. Now if I ask a question following the same, okay, to which box is box Z related to, if this was asked as a question. I'll wait for 15-20 seconds. Please answer this question. The question may look the same to the given question, but it is not. My question is following the same, to which box is box Z related to? Please put in your answers in the comments. Now you cannot give your answer as X here. Please don't give your answer as X here. Your answer should be T. Your answer should be T, because the earlier relation is what? W is above Q. Means the box before related is above the box given after related with a gap of 2 boxes. Correct? Same way, box P is above box Y with a gap of 2 boxes. Now my question, now you have a box given before related. So this box should be above. So Z is above which box with a gap of 2 boxes? See here, Z is above which box with a gap of 2 boxes? T. So T should be given as my answer. Everybody following this? That is correct, Sandravadana. T. Suyog? Yes. In that case, it has to be 4th option. Correct. Okay, be very careful in how a question is asked, because anyway it can be asked. So that is why the word related to is very important in this scenario. The word related to is very important in this scenario. So in this case, our answer is going to be box T. But for us, our answer is X, 5th option. Okay, that's the distinction. The word related should be analyzed in the question. Is there a question mark, or is there a box given before related or after related in the question? Accordingly, my answer will change. Okay, great. All right. Okay. Venkatasai Jatin, yes, I will explain this again. So our question, I'll start from our question and then I'll go to the question that I have written. Okay. Our question was following the same, which box is related to box T? See, now what is happening in our question, you have after related, there is already a box available. That means I need to find a box that is before related. So what was the relation that we found in the earlier cases? The box that is given before related is above the box that is given after related with a gap of 2 boxes. Let me know in the comments, Venkatasai Jatin, did you understand what I said just now? Great. So that is why you give box X as my answer, because above Z you have box X with a gap of 2. Now my question is, now see, look at this question that I have written. Following the same, to which box is box Z related to? Now in my question, what happened? I have box given before the word related. I need to now find the box after related. So what is the relation for the box that is given after related? It is below with a gap of 2 boxes. That is why it is T. Now did you understand it? I'll wait for your reply. Okay, great. That's all. So this much you have to be, aware of. What part of information should I concentrate on so that I can get my answer in one shot? Okay. Right. Next. What is the position of P with respect to T? Okay. He's asking what is the position of P with respect to T. So from T I have to go above. It is a gap of 3 boxes. So it is 4 boxes above, because P is in which position? 4th position above T. So it is 4 boxes above T. And that's what you choose. 4 boxes above. Third option. Okay. Then which of these statements is definitely false this time? Okay, I need an option that is definitely false. Okay, let's see this. X is placed below W. Correct. X is below W. This is true. This option is true. I cannot choose this. 2 boxes are placed between R and P. Correct. The X and Q. This is also true. So I cannot choose this. T is placed at the bottom. Yes. This is also true. So this also cannot be chosen. So you have to check 4th option. You cannot say, okay, 4th option is my answer now. It will be false. No, because in the 5th option, he says all are true. So if 4th is also true, then I have to choose 5th option. So know where and when to stop. Should I continue? Should I stop there? You have to have some idea about it. You have to be prepared about it. That is why your preparedness should be more at a very peak level than your nervousness. If your preparedness is at your peak, your nervousness can be controlled very easily. Be prepared. Okay. Then 4th, X is placed 4th from the top. No, X is 3rd from the top. Correct? From the top, he says. So yes, this is the option that I am choosing now. 4th option. Cannot be 5th. All are true, cannot happen. 4th option. Okay. Correct. Sandravadana, yes, it is 4th option. Yes. Okay. Next set. Yes. Now we have 6 persons were born on the same date and in different years. So years are given. So you also need to be aware of what parameter I should fix so that it is easy for me to understand the instructions. Okay. So here, after the years, what he is saying, the ages are calculated as of 2025 of the same date. So what does this give you? You fix the years. Once you fix the years, you will get an additional parameter, ages, already available to you. Then only the persons as well as each person works at a different company. So person and companies now have to be arranged. Distribution model. Years, when you fix the ages, you will get automatically. So the persons and the companies can be fixed. That is what we need to do now. Correct? So let's look into it. We have 75, 79, 82. So years 1975, 1979, 1982, then 85, 92, 2001. 85, 92, 2001. So we have years, so we'll get ages as on 2025, he says. Then we have persons, and then we have companies. Okay. So now let's look into the ages. So from 75 to 2025, correct? So from 75 to 2025, how many? 50 years. Now from 75 to 79, 4 years increase. So in the age, 4 years decrease. Correct? Now from 79 to 82, again 3 years increase, so 3 years decrease. Again here 82 to 85, 3 years increase, 3 years decrease. Find a method that is easy for you to understand and fix the ages. You don't have to every time subtract every year. How much ever increase is happening here, that much decrease, you keep on doing it. Now from 85 to 92, 7 years, you decrease 7 years here, 33. Correct? And from 2001, you can directly count 24. That way you get your ages. Correct? Now persons and companies. Yeah. Right. Now the following information is known about them. Okay. The one who was born in 1982 works at Cognizant. Okay. So 1982, the company is Cognizant. Then only 2 persons were born after Kalyan, who means Kalyan does not work at Wipro. So only 2 persons are born after Kalyan tells you something. It tells you where I can place Kalyan. The year is fixed for Kalyan now. It is 85 because only 2 persons are born after Kalyan. So Kalyan will be fixed in 1985 and not Wipro for Kalyan, who does not work in Wipro. Because he said only 2 persons are born after Kalyan. Correct? Then Gautam was born in an even numbered year. Correct? Now even numbered year, we have 82 and 92. Both are available. Correct? So we have Gautam, you can say it is 82 or 92. Further, what he says, the person who works in Wipro is younger than Gautam, but means Wipro, person who works in Wipro, but was not born in an even numbered year. Okay, so Wipro should be younger than Gautam, but Wipro should not be given in an even numbered year. Okay, so Wipro is younger than Gautam, so Wipro should be below Gautam, younger than Gautam, but not in an even numbered year. So Wipro cannot be even number. So Wipro has to be odd number. Now, whether I give Gautam in 82 or I give Gautam in 92, okay, we know Wipro cannot be 85. So the only possibility for Wipro is going to be 2001, because that's the only odd numbered year you have below Gautam. Gautam's position may not be fixed, but Wipro's position is now fixed. Correct? Right. Then further, Shiva works in Adobe and sum of the ages of Shiva and Kalyan is a prime number. Okay, sum of the ages of Shiva and Kalyan is a prime number. So Kalyan is 40. Then obviously it has to be some odd number only. Correct? Odd number only, by adding it to 40 gives me a prime number. So cannot be 50, cannot be 46, 43. By adding, I'll get 83. Correct? And by 33, by adding, I'll get 73. Correct? Both by adding 43 is 83, which is a prime number. By adding 33, 73 is also a prime number. But he said Shiva works in where? Shiva works in Adobe. But I cannot have Shiva now for 43 because it is Cognizant. So Shiva will be given for 33 and Adobe. That means now Gautam has to be given for 43. So Gautam has to be 82, not 92, because 92 is now Shiva. So the conversation that I am having with you now has to happen in your mind. So keep talking to yourself when you are practicing. This exact conversation or a similar information has to happen with you and your mind. Keep your mind very active. That is how it works always. Okay. Right. Then further, what else we have? Let's see. The person who works at Microsoft is older than Kalyan. Okay. Microsoft is older than Kalyan. There are 2 positions for Microsoft. Okay. Then only 2 persons were born between the one who works at Adobe and Mayank. Adobe we know is Shiva. 2 persons between Shiva and Mayank. So we know Mayank has to be in second position, 79. Then obviously, even now I can give Microsoft in both positions because we know Microsoft is older than Kalyan. Could be Mayank or the first position. Still, it is not possible for me to fix. Okay, let's see further what he says. Then we have Pawan does not work at Amazon. And the person who works at Amazon is older than Mayank. Okay. So Amazon is older than Mayank. So Amazon will be here, oldest. And we know this cannot be Pawan. Then we know Microsoft will be Mayank. So Pawan will be Wipro. And we have 1 person and 1 company. We know we can search for it, we'll get it. And what else we say is Pawan is younger than the person who works in Infosys. Okay. Now we know that company. Pawan should be younger than Infosys. So Kalyan is Infosys. And we have one other person, Brahma. That's it. So like I said, by the time you come to your last information, your arrangement should be ready. It is the best way to approach any arrangement question. Your approach has to be common. As long as your topic is common, if you keep your approach common, you will not get confused. Yes? Okay. So now let's look into questions. Right. So this is our final arrangement. He has given it in a horizontal way. It doesn't matter. Okay. Yeah. Now who works at Infosys? We know Infosys is Kalyan. So Kalyan is given to us in 4th option. Then in which company does Brahma work? We know Brahma works in Amazon. 3rd option. Correct. Then who was born in 1979? Okay, we know 1979 is Mayank or Microsoft. Mayank is given. So 1st option. Then which of the following combinations is true? Okay, we have 92 Gautam. No. 2001 Pawan. Yes. Then don't go for other options. There is no more than one of the above given. Then don't spend time unnecessarily. So you should know when to stop, where to stop, and move on. Understood? Practice. These are all the things that, other than concepts, you need to be smart to know how to approach, when to stop, where to stop, and move on. Got it? Right. Then what is the sum of ages of Brahma and the person who works at Infosys? So we know Brahma is 50, Infosys is 40, we know it is 90. 5th option. Okay, yes, Sandravadana, that is the order of persons. Yes, thank you. Correct, it is 90. Yes. Okay. Those were the questions in that set. Next. We have 9 persons are working in an institution in different designations. Their designations are. So we have from chairman to clerk here. Not necessarily in the same order. The following information is known. Usually when designations are given, he will provide you with a note like this. Okay. Where he says the positions have been given in the decreasing order of their expertise in that order. Decreasing order. Chairman is the senior most, clerk is the junior most. So whenever designations are given, irrespective of how the note is given, we always provide them in the decreasing order. Means we always take senior most at the top, and as we move down, you get the junior most. That is our preferred way of fixing. Why? Because in my conditions, okay, see, look at the first condition that we have, senior to K, and here, but junior to M. So interpreting such information becomes easier when I always arrange them in the decreasing order. Means senior most at the top, junior most at the bottom. Why? Because when I say senior, you can replace the word senior as above. When I said M is senior to K, I have an information here. I will simply remember it as M should be above K, because seniors are all above. And when we say junior to M, I will think it as below M, because juniors are all below. Understanding the point? So whenever designations are given, irrespective of what the note is, saying, we always arrange them in the decreasing order, senior most at the top to junior most at the bottom, so that interpreting information is easy. Keep that in mind. So you need to know, when you come across a scenario like this, what are all the things that I have to keep in mind? Make a checklist for linear arrangement. After you practice some, make a checklist. Go through that checklist on a regular basis, because that should become a habit for you. As soon as you go through next linear arrangement, the checklist should run in your mind automatically. The next, when you come to a designation model, checklist should be there that runs to your mind automatically. So make a checklist. So you need to be prepared. That's what I'm saying. Your preparedness should be at peak. Then only you can control your nervousness. Then only you can maximize your score by attempting every question given in the exam. So practice on a regular basis. Okay. Right. So let's first fix the designations, and then we have persons. Okay. So we have chairman, MD, D, which is director, HRM. So we have chairman, MD, director, human resource manager. Then we have HOD, AP, then AP, CK. HOD, AP, AP, and CK. Okay, these are my designations. Now we need to fix persons on the basis of the given information for these designations. Okay, let's see. Right. Yeah, so we'll start from here. These are the information given. M is senior to K, who means K is HR manager, HRM. Okay, so K is HRM, and he says M is senior to K. So immediately you need to understand that I will get 3 cases. I will start with 3 cases. So know the necessary data for arranging. So M as director, M as managing director, and M as chairman. In all the cases, K will be human resource manager. Okay. Then H is senior to K. Okay. So if H is senior to K, so senior means above. That much I know. Need not be immediate above. So like this, I can fix for now. So it could be any position above. Correct? At the same time, H is senior to K, but, so and or but refers to the first person, that is H here, but junior to M. So H should be above K, at the same time below M. Okay. Then I can rule out the first case. So here H will be senior to K but junior to M. Now here you will understand that there is one more case that I can go through. So I can have K here, M here. In one case I'll have H here, in the other case I'll have H here. Because H is senior to K but junior to M. Need not be only one person between M and H. You can have 2 persons also, and in those 2 persons, one of the persons is H. He never said only H is senior to K and junior to M. If the word only was attached, then the second case is the only case. That's the difference. Got it? Right. Then neither G nor J is either an assistant professor or an accountant. Neither G nor J. Okay. So neither G nor J, I will put it here. Neither G nor J is either the assistant professor or an accountant. Okay. So G and J cannot happen in these two positions. Okay. Further, the number of persons senior to H means above H. So you can simply replace senior as above, junior as below. As long as you arrange them in the decreasing order, senior most to junior most, replace always senior as above, junior as below. It becomes very easy. So senior to H means above H should be same as number of persons. Junior to G means below G. So above H should be same as below G. Okay. And we have L is H of the head of the department. Okay. So L is our head of the department. Now, above H is same as below G means again you have to occupy the same positions from both ends. Above H, below G. So one and last is first and last is okay. Second and second last is not okay. Third and third last is not okay. Fourth and fourth last is not okay. So first and first, last. That is the only positions where you can have H and G. But H is already fixed in our case. Then G can be fixed automatically. Correct? I did not see that. My bad. H is already fixed, so I can fix G. Now H is third from the top. Then you fix G third from the bottom. Same way here, G third from the bottom, and here G second from the bottom. H and G. Above H is same as below G. Correct? And then L is HOD. Then number of persons senior to J above J is same as number of persons junior to N below N. So above J is same as below N. Okay. Above J is same as below N. Now in this case, first and last works. In this case, second and second last works. In this case, third and third last works. Correct? Above J is same as below N. So that means I can have J or N, J or N, J or N, same way, N or J, N or J, N or J. I need to further verify this. Okay. What else we have? F is senior to both G and J. Okay. So F is senior to both G and J. Then I can rule out the second case. Okay. You need not for now. So F is senior to both G and J. Okay. Let us see. So then in that case, I can have N here and J here. Same way I can have N here and J here. Then I can have N here and J here. Correct? Now F is senior to both G and J. So you can have F here, here and here. But the thing is, see, this information and this information should also be considered. G and J cannot be in the position of assistant, cannot be in the position of assistant professor. So when you look at these two, you rule it out because G and J are appearing in assistant professor role. So these two are ruled out, not possible. But this is fine. So F is A position and G and J are not in AP position. This is what we get. And we have one more person to fix. So like I said, by the time you come to the last information, F is senior to both G and J, you will have your arrangement ready. Guaranteed. Okay. So who's the remaining person we have? F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Acha, I is missed. Okay. So I. So this is the arrangement we go for. Okay. Yeah, decreasing order of seniority. Sandravadana, correct. That is always you have to give. Yes, that's the order we'll get. Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. Right. So yes, again, this is given horizontally, it doesn't matter. Questions. Who is the chairman? We know chairman here is given as N. So first option. Then number of persons senior to F is same as number of persons junior to. So in this case, senior to F means go to the left side of F. So left side of F, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. So to the right side of another person, you need to have same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it has to be K, third option. Then only right side of K, 5 people. Left side of F, 5 people. Then how many persons senior to I means left side of I, how many are there? So you know that there are a total of how many? 3, 3, 6, 3, 9 people. From that you remove 2 more. So there are a total of 7 people senior to I. Fourth option. Now who is the assistant professor? Okay, we know assistant professor is I. Second option. Okay. And which among the following combinations is true? Okay, since you have more than one of the above, we'll have to check all the options. M managing director. Correct. That is true. N accountant. No, that is false. I assistant professor. That is true. Then that's all. More than one. Fifth option. J managing director. No, that is false. So sometimes you may also get which among the following combinations is false, he will say. Then also it will be more than one of the above. Correct? Yeah. So these are the questions. Okay. Questions will not, trouble you much. It will be directly asked and you will get once you get the arrangement. But focus on getting the arrangement correct the first time. Okay. That should be the agenda goal here for us. Yeah. Okay. Fifth option is correct. Next. We have 9 persons are sitting around a circular table facing the center. Okay, circular arrangement. Now, whenever you have a circular arrangement, by default, see, I asked you to make a checklist. Okay, so when you practice on a regular basis, you yourself can come up with a checklist. Okay, because that should be, like what can I say, understandable to you. Which are the important points that you have to, keep in mind? You have to make that checklist. So when you practice on a regular basis, come up with a 3, 4, maximum 5 points. Don't go too much of a checklist. Okay, don't make 10 points, 15 points like that. Maximum 3 to 5 points. Very simple points you keep in mind. So for me, the first thing whenever I go for a circular arrangement is I look at the number of persons. If it is an odd number, I will automatically come to a conclusion that there are no opposite positions. Only for even numbers, you'll have opposite positions. All these checkpoints are from our basics only, nothing new. But just for the sake of, understanding, I ask you to make a checklist. Becomes easy every time, mentally. Okay. So odd number means there are no opposites. Okay. So same direction facing the center. Let's take that. So I have a circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So spread out as evenly as possible. No opposites. Okay. See, if you are by taking a circle, by taking those points, if you are uncomfortable, what you can do, see, I'm just showing you, just make a, just make a horizontal line like this. Okay. Give 4 or 5 lines like this, and then the remaining you give below. And all are facing the center. how you are representing it, in this case, it doesn't matter. You don't have to provide a circle only. Provide with lines if you are comfortable. Like this, it doesn't matter. Put a horizontal line, put 5 lines above, 4 lines below, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. 9 representation. No opposites. Okay? Or you can do it like this. Okay. Right. So now let's look into the questions. The following information is known. So from here we have the information from O till here. Okay. So it says O sits 3 places away from Q. So if O is 3 places away from Q, okay, and also the immediate next is P sits second to the right of O. So fix O first. So by fixing O, P will be here because right is, we know, anti-clockwise. See, imagine yourself here. If I imagine myself here, which is the right side? This is my right side, anti-clockwise. Which is my left side? This is mine. So clockwise is left, anti-clockwise is right. You don't have to memorize it. You can imagine yourself seated in this direction. You'll know which is left and right. That's it. Okay. So once I have O, now the earlier information was 3 places away from Q. Means 3 places away means you leave a gap of 2. So either by taking on the left side, leaving a gap of 2, I can have Q here, or you can take one more circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And by fixing O here and P second to the right, I can have Q here also, leaving a gap of 2, either on one side or on the other side. I get 2 cases. Correct? Then K sits 3 places away from Q. So K is also 3 places away from Q. O is 3 places away from Q. Now K is also 3 places away from Q. So on the other side, you put K. Here on the other side, you put K. Correct? Then M sits third to the right of J. Neither M nor J sits adjacent to either P or K. See, the checklist, what I said, will be common. Like always read 2 or 3 conditions together. That will help you analyze the data better. Correct? So here M is third to the right of J, correct? But neither M nor J is adjacent to either P or K. Okay. So neither M nor J is adjacent to either P or K. Okay. Neither M nor J is adjacent to either P or K. Like this. These 3 positions are ruled out. So that means I only have these 2 positions for M or J, J or M. Correct or not in that case? And in this case, I have, these are the only 2 positions, or this also is there. And here 1, 2, 3. Okay. Correct. Now what was the instruction? M is third to the right of J. Okay. So if M is third to the right of J, I need to fix J first. Then with J third to the right, I have M. So if I fix J here, correct, third to the right, I know right is anti-clockwise. So first, second, third, not possible. So I cannot have J here. Now what happens if I fix J here? Again, right is anti-clockwise. First, second, third. Unfortunately, I cannot have M here, even though there is an empty position. That means J also cannot be here. That means this is ruled out, because the remaining 3 positions, you cannot have J. Totally, there are 5 available positions, because 4 persons are already fixed here. So there are 5 available positions. Among them, 3 positions are not available. These are the only 2, and in both of them you don't have. So that is ruled out. Then coming to this. So you need to start looking at J and in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, what happens if I fix J here? First, second, third, not there. What happens if I fix J here? First, second, third. Even though position is available, I cannot have M there, not here. Then this is the only position of J. Then first, second, third. Yes, I can have M here. M is third to the right of J. Visualize, analyze. Okay. Then N sits third to the left of L. who means L does not sit adjacent to K. Okay. L is not adjacent to K. So L cannot be there. But what he said, N is third to the left of L. So I need to fix L first because he says left of L, third to the left of L. So what happens if I fix L here? Left is clockwise. First, second, third. Yes, you can have N, no problem. Now what happens if I fix L here? First, second, third. There also you can have N. So both positions are available for L because we have N is third to the left of L who does not sit adjacent to K. So L cannot be adjacent to K, but L can occupy the remaining two positions. On both sides, you are getting N. Further, what else is there? Let us see. M and N are not adjacent to each other. Okay. So obviously, now you cannot have N here. That means you cannot have L here. You cannot have L here. Because L is here, then third to the left, you have N adjacent. So L will be placed here, N will be placed here, and the remaining person who is there? J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. R. So like I said, by the time you come to the last information, your arrangement is ready. So irrespective of what arrangement you are doing in puzzles, the approach is common. Move at a steady pace, visualize the information using positions, analyze, fix, and by the time you come to the last information, you will get your answer. So ensure you are going through the data only once. That is what you need to practice. Okay? Okay, all right. Correct, Sandravadana? Good. Okay. So one other, advantage of a circular arrangement is you don't need to start where I started. I started by fixing O in this position. That's the advantage in a circular arrangement because there are no ends. You can pick O in any one position. I have picked O here. He has picked O somewhere here. The only thing is when you look at in order of persons in the clockwise direction, it should match. So here what do I have? From O, we have M, L, Q, J, N, K, P, R. So here from O, M, L, Q, J, N, K, P, R works. So it doesn't matter where you start. The order of people in clockwise or anti-clockwise should match. That is fine. Okay. Right. Questions. Who sits to the immediate left of Q? Imagine yourself there. Left is clockwise. Immediate left you have is J. Choice. Then who sits third to the right of J? J is here. Imagine yourself there. Right is anti-clockwise. First, second, third. It is M. Third to the right. Third option. Then what is the position of N? So I need to know where N is. Means from the other person you check. So from R. So from R, I can either move in the clockwise or anti-clockwise. Correct? So if I move clockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th to the left. If I move anti-clockwise, 1, 2, 3, third to the right. 6th to the left, third to the right. So I do have third to the right. First option. Could be any, correct? Could be given in any direction. Now, how many persons sit between O and J when counted to the right of O? Okay. So O and J, when he says right of O, right means anti-clockwise. So these are the 4 people, R, P, K, and N. So 4. So without giving the direction, if he simply asks between O and J, cannot be determined because on the right side it will be 4, on the left side there are only 3 people. Correct? So it will not be possible. So the direction has to be specified. So 4. Then 4 of the following 5 are alike in a certain way and hence form a group. Find the one that does not belong to that group. So odd man out format. Let's see. M and O. So let's understand this as first person, second person. In all the options, first person is person given in the first position. Second person is the person given in the second position. So M and O. See the first person. Okay. So first person is immediate left of second person. Can I say like that? Same way, R and P, like that, likewise. So first person is immediate left of second person, correct? Then J and N, see, first person is immediate right of second person. Q and L, again, Q is the first person, immediate left of second person. O and R, see, now O is the first person, immediate left of second person. So except for third option, because when you only look at positions, you will see that all positions are adjacent positions. Yeah, sometimes that will work. Sometimes, except 4 options, in one option you will have not adjacent. In the remaining 4 options, you will have adjacent. That will work. But in this case, all are adjacent positions. So the direction should also be identified. So it will be third option. Okay. All right. So these are the questions you have in the set. Okay. Right. Yes, we have one more. Now he says 6 persons were born in a different month among Jan, March, June, August, September and December of the same year. This will be mentioned, of the same year, or he will say of a year. A year means in 1 year. So you should know this is the parameter I have to fix first when months are given, or when days are given. He will say of the same week or of a week. The terminology has to be, understood correctly. So we fix the months first, then we can fix the persons, and each person likes a different color. So distribution, fixing the months, persons and colors can be distributed in those months. Okay. So Jan, March, June, August, September and December. So we have months. So Jan, March, June, August, September, December. Then we have persons and colors to be fixed. So generally, you should also know how should I represent the data in a table. So here, person and color can be given in a single column. You don't have to give separate columns. Okay, because if there is another possibility, you can directly work in the same table. You don't need to take another table. That is unnecessary, right? So you have to be aware of how should I, represent. That will minimize my effort and concentrate completely on conditions. Okay. Right. So yeah, the following information is known. Let's see. At least. So at least means minimum. So at least 4 persons were born after W who likes gray. Okay. So at least 4 persons. Correct. So then I can have W and gray here, so that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 after. I can also have W and gray here, so that you have 5 persons, because he said at least minimum. Correct. Right. W who means W likes gray. Then 2 persons were born between the person who likes red and V. Who means V was born in a month that has even number of days. So V is born in a month that has even number of days. So usually we also consider the number of days in these months. That will help us in fixing the conditions, the number of days. Correct. So there are 2 people between red and V. V is even number. So even number of months or even number of days, months, what do we have? June and September. So either I can have a V here. Okay. Then I can say that 2 persons, he said, above is not possible. So I'll take below. So by taking below 2 persons, I can have red here. Correct? Or the same thing, you can also have, V here and red here. Correct? Or you can take 2 more. What is that 2 more? You can also take V as September. Now what happens, see, in this same case, if I don't take V in June, what happens if I take V in September? I need 2 persons between V and red. So below is not possible. So above 2 people, can I have red here? No, it is already gray. So that means in this case where W is given in March, this is the only possibility. You cannot have V in September, you will have V in June. But in the other case, okay, in the other case, you will definitely get a possibility of, if I take a W here and a gray here, you don't have to take V in June, you can take V in September, then 1 and 2, you can have red here also. So basically, I'll get 3 possibilities. So instead of giving 3 different tables, you can finish it off in 1 table. So when you're practicing, these are the things you also have to take care of. Understood? Okay. Right. Further, let's see. Yes. Then here, X likes neither brown nor orange. Okay. So X neither brown nor orange. Okay. Then the number of persons born before red is same as the number of persons born after Y. So before red is same as after Y. Okay. Since red is already placed, okay, before red, so after Y. So obviously, since red is at the last, Y should be first. Again here, red is at the last, Y should be first. Unfortunately, cannot happen because W is in the first. Now here, red is in the second. Unfortunately, this also is not possible because Y cannot be put in the second. So that means I'm left with only this arrangement. Correct? Yeah. Then U was born in August and likes either blue or black. Okay. U is here. So this is either blue or black. Okay. We'll see. Then the person who likes orange was born before the person who likes brown, but means orange after black. So orange should be before brown, but at the same time after black. That is the arrangement. Visualize. This is how you have to visualize when you read the data. So when you are practicing, put every instruction in terms of positions. Initially, you have to put it on the paper, then only later on the visualization can be easily understood. Okay. So black, orange, brown. Yes. Now, obviously, you cannot have black here for you, because if I take black here, then orange is fine, but I cannot have brown. So this is going to be blue. Now you have only remaining 3 colors. So Y is going to be black, V is going to be orange, and then in September you will have brown. Correct? Okay, now he says X is neither brown nor orange. So you cannot have X here. So X will be red. And then you have the remaining. Who is the remaining? U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Z is there. Z will be brown. So like I said, again and again, after every arrangement, by the time you come to the last information, your arrangement will be ready. That is how you need to work. Okay. Right. Yeah, this is our arrangement given in a horizontal way. Questions. First one is, who likes blue? We know it is U. First option. Then who was born in September? We know it is Z. Z is not there, but the one who likes brown is given. Z likes brown. So choice 2. Then who likes orange? Okay, in terms of months only it is given in the options. Orange is June month. So 4th option. Then how many persons were born between Y and the person who likes brown? Okay. He says how many persons? Okay. Between Y and brown. So in this particular information, we have to check. So Y is here, brown is here. Now in between, how many persons are there? We know there are 3 people. So my answer will be 3. I'll give you a slightly different variation in a similar manner. If I ask you, okay, I'm writing the question here. If I ask you, how many months are there between Y and the person who likes brown? Now please understand the question carefully. I'll give you 30 seconds and I want you to answer this. He's asking how many months are there between. Okay, check. The information is the same. You have Y and brown. Instead of persons, I have written months. That's all. Yes. Sandravadana? Correct. You will say 7. You cannot say 3 by looking at this. Because he says months, we will have to focus on the months column. Earlier he said persons, we focus on the persons column. When he said months between, so Y is born in January, brown is given in September. Between January and September, how many months you have? Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August. 7 months. So be very careful in how a question is asked. So here my answer will be 7 months. Everybody clear on this? Okay. Right. Next. Which of the following statements is definitely false? Okay. So since again you have more than one of the above, I'll have to check. So let's see. Z was born in a month that has even number of days. Correct. So this is true. I cannot choose this. U likes black. That is definitely false. So I can pick this option. Since more than one is there, I'll have to check remaining. Person who was born in September likes brown. Correct. September and brown. This is definitely true. Cannot choose this. W is younger than only Y. He says W is younger than only Y. Younger means below. In this case, right side. W is on the right side of only Y. Or W should be below only Y. Correct. That is also true. Younger means below. So if we go to our arrangement, see, W should be below only Y. Yes, that is true. W is younger than only Y. So understand the information correctly. Okay, it will confuse you initially, but be careful. Younger than only Y, he says, which is true. So cannot be chosen. Means more than one of the above does not happen. So I'll have to pick option 2 as the answer. Okay. All right. So those were the questions in the set. And with that, we come to the end of the session. So all the models are, discussed. all the different types. I hope all the questions that are discussed is understood, and you are now at a better position to approach and analyze it. Okay, keep practicing on a regular basis. Okay. Yeah, all right. Okay, so before we end the session, just some information. Again, do join and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for all the notifications of the videos we upload for all bank, SSC, CGL, insurance, railway, and other related exams. And these are our social media handles, links, Telegram, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. The links are given in the description below. And for classroom coaching, do contact your nearest time center. And for online courses, you can enroll at t4e.info/bankssc online. Okay, so that is it. Thank you for attending the session. And if there is nothing else, thank you and goodbye.